Hey, family, it is your sister, Just Angel. How are you doing? Man, it is so nice to be able to share some more information. I know you guys been hearing about the 180 days decision Trump has to make regarding to China. Now it's Trump's 180-day deadline. This is just a topic on what it could mean for us as silver and gold stackers, right? This has to be by July 13th. Let's read what is going on. I did put some notes down here I want to share with you guys. It says Trump's 100-day deadline, what it means for silver and gold stackers. Now, for people who buy physical silver and gold, this could matter in a few important ways, especially if trade tensions with China increase or if supply chains tighten. The Trump administration order gives U.S. negotiations 180 days to reduce dependence on China for critical minerals with possible tariffs, quotas, or import restrictions afterwards if deals are not reached. So, family, we already know if something's, when there's a negotiation going on, we see this with the war, if terrorists, you know, come in, we already know what that can do to us stacking. It can do a lot to the price. It says here how that can affect buyers of precious metals. Higher premiums on silver and gold, family, right? If trade restrictions expand, refining and manufacturing costs could rise. Silver is heavily tied to industry, solar panels, electronics, EVs, military technology. They leave out spaceships and, huge things, cell phones, a lot of things that we use, silver's involved. Now, gold is also used in electronics and central bank reserves. If supply chains get disrupted, refiners may charge more, right? So when you're doing your scrap gold or what have you, the refiners may charge more money. Mints may face delays. Dealers will raise their premiums, and we see that now. Dealers have to raise their premiums because this silver and gold is so volatile that they don't know if they buy it from you tomorrow, is it going to drop and they lose money? I mean, we're all in this really, funky balance, right? And when you look at what's coming up in 180 days, the reason why I'm talking about it, fam, is because us as stackers, we have to make a decision not to get worried or to panic and do panic buying or panic selling, but to think about, because when I'm talking to stackers, I'm talking about people that are stacking regardless. How are we going to maneuver our goals? Knowing in maybe in 180 days, it can maybe get higher. Are you getting closer to what your goal is this year? So this is something to think about, family. Now, if supply chains get disrupted, refiners may charge more, mints may face delays, dealers may raise premiums. So we may not even find some of the coins we've been looking for. It may become more popular and more expensive, right? So we got to think about this. That means spot price might stay similar, but the real price buyers pay could jump higher, right? So even if and we see that now, even though it's worth this, they want that. See, this is what we have to think about, because as stackers, and the reason why I'm talking to my community is because we are not just stackers. Some of us are business owners, some of us are authors, some of us are creators, some of us have jobs. And the thing is, we're not only dealing with our investing goals or our hobbies, but inflation and high gas, high food. We're already dealing with things that are kind of hindering how much we purchase anyway. Because a lot of us stackers, we know that we have to keep so much fiat, so much cash. We can't just go all in. And then when what we want to go in on, we got to deal with this. Okay, gas is twice as much. My taxes just went up. My food just gone up. We got so many bills that have doubled, right? We're still can't even go in fully on what we want to go in on, right? That we used to. So this is something we need to talk about. What's going to happen by, I think it's July 13th, right? What's going to happen? Let me know in the comments your thoughts. This already happened during COVID, right? The supply shortages in 2020 and 2022, bullion demand spiked. Recent tariff fears. Silver can benefit more than gold because and this is what bothers us so much as silver stackers. Silver has a dual role. Why isn't silver at a more balanced, higher rate? Why does it keep falling when we know it's used as a precious metal and also industrial metal? That's why we know it's being compromised through banks, but we don't want to go there. We don't want to go there. Let's just stick to a topic. Now, critical minerals policies often boost interest in metals connected to manufacturing and energy infrastructure. Some investors think silver could gain if industrial demand rises, governments stockpile strategic resources, and supply becomes tighter. Gold usually reacts more to fear, inflation, currency concerns, geopolitical uncertainty. Silver reacts to those plus industrial demand. So we got a lot more dealing with silver. When gold goes through things, silver stackers look at, is it time to buy gold to add to my silver? So we always have some type of option, but what I'm talking about is our ongoing goals, what we're trying to reach. We have so many obstacles coming at us, and then knowing that in just 180 days, there might be a decision made that may go good or bad, right? So we got to figure things out now. More people may move into hard assets. When governments talk about tariffs, trade wars, supply chain security, national security risks, investors often shift towards tangible assets, gold, silver, mining stock, commodities. So a lot of us that have been stocking gold, silver, copper, platinum, whatever you've been stocking, you're ahead of the game, because when investors come in and they say, we want to have more control, because I don't care what anybody says, when you have something in your hand, you control it, right? It's up to you if you're going to win or lose, because you can sell it now or you can hold on to it and wait. You have the control. And we don't know what's going on, because once everybody wants to get into physical, it's going to be more of a demand. That can increase demand for physical bullion. Potential volatility. If the US and China escalates economically, metal markets could become more volatile. Premiums may swing quickly. Availability of certain coin bars may tighten, especially low premium silver rounds. I don't like the word junk silver. I'll say 90% silver, because I don't think it's junk. I think silver is beautiful. I'll say junk, ain't no junk. This is good stuff, honey. Hey, whenever you can make money off something, it's not junk. It is 90% silver. Fractional gold, popular serving coins. You might you might see situations where spot silver drops, but physical silver still sells at high premiums. And that's something that irritates us. I know as stackers, we get irritated when we're already paying more, right, than what it's worth. Because when we're paying spot, we already know people always want to, buy back so many dollars, right? So you're already dealing with that. So if you're buying higher and then you got to deal with that too, your holding aspect is going to be longer. We're all at different ages, right? We all have different goals. And anyway, whether you're holding or not, as investors, hobbyists, collectors, we want the best for, especially now, family, we want the best for our money. We are working so much harder now and longer. The value of the dollar is going down. The prices are going up. And then when you purchase something that you enjoy, and then you have to get ripped off in that as well. And I don't mean that people are ripping us off. I'm just saying because it's being manipulated in so many aspects. The stacker, right? And the owners of the stores and the whole realm of every aspect of stacking, from buying to selling, we all are having to deal with things differently because, nobody wants to buy our silver or gold and then the next day it's dropped 20, 100, 500. You know what I'm saying? But we want it to be where, hey, this is the worth, right? This is where it's at. And we can't get that because it keeps dropping and it's just all over the place, right? And we know it shouldn't be because silver is so used. So we know the manipulation is there. But now in 180 days, we have to deal with what's coming down. And that frustrates many stackers. Mining stocks and domestic refining could gain attention. Policies aimed at reducing Chinese dependence could increase interest in U.S. mining, Canadian mining, domestic refining capacity, strategic metal projects. Silver and gold miners sometimes benefit when governments prioritize resource independence. The broader goal of the policy is to reduce reliance on China's dominance in mineral processing and supply chains. For stackers, especially, expect possible higher premiums, more volatility, stronger safe haven interest, and potentially tighter physical supply if tension increases. This is why we got to talk about this. Long-term physical holders often view these kinds of policies as bullish for tangible assets because they signal a less stable global trade environment. So, family, this is something I want to bring to your attention. Some of you guys have been watching it, but as stackers, like I was thinking, even for myself, okay, in 180 days, if they make this decision, we've talked about certain coins we want to collect. Some of us are trying to collect so many hundreds of ounces. Some people are saying, hey, I want to collect 500, ounces before I retire. Some people are, already got 1,000 something ounces. Some people want to start stacking gold. Some people want to balance out. Some people are just trying to get in the game. So when you think about what's being, going on with this decision with China and all this, first of all, we already know that it's being recognized. It's been recognized, but now it's starting to get into a serious game changer for a lot of us. So when they're talking about premiums higher, maybe it's going to take longer to get what we need, right? We don't know what's going to happen, family. Let me know in the comments your thoughts. I don't know anybody's financial position, and I'm not here to tell you what to do or what not to do, but it's just like, you have to think, as you're stacking, what are you trying to get? What is your goals? How can this affect you, right? What can you do today? What, and I think it's so important because sometimes we get so caught up in stacking. I remember when I was trying to get at a certain amount, and then you surpass at a certain amount, then you start going to something else, and then you say, oh, I want to get smaller amounts. I want to get coins now, and so on, and then you kind of forget where you're at because you're not where you want to be, and it's so further out, and some people are just they just want to stack. So they're just going to be stacked up. But I think it's important to know before this 180 days, you got time to find out where are you, what is your goal, and you can do something over and over and over again. It's a lot of fun. But then when prices are going up, food is going up, clothes are going up, gas is going up, then you go get your car fixed, you got to work on the house, everything is so expensive. So now it's cutting into your goal because some people like to save money and they also save, silver and gold, platinum or what have you, to kind of go, so much fiat, so much in gold and silver. And you have to start thinking about, where am I and how can this affect me? I've had people come on my comments and they say, Angel, I'm not stacking. I'm not doing anything right now. And I'm thinking, okay, I don't know their financial situation, but if it's just because of what's going on, you just want to see how things settle, that's cool. But I'm saying with this 180 days coming, is it going to be a point where the premiums are just going to be worse and we're just not going to be able to stack and then we're not going to be able to hit our goals for the year? Or what can you do to prepare yourself? Um, so if it does happen where, okay, this isn't available or things are taking longer or the demand is so high because everybody's trying to get in that, what do you guys think? Let me know what your plans are. My plan is to continue, stacking smarter, and just kind of watching. And I know it's not to put fear. This is it. This is what's going down. This is what's happening. So we have to find out, how can it affect us. And that's what I was sharing with you guys. What areas it could premiums, more volatility, demand. It can be a lot of things. So let me know your thoughts about this in the comments, family. I'm just happy to be able to share a little bit with you guys. But you know what? Make sure you hit that like, smash that notification bell, and subscribe to your sister channel. Also share in the comments your thoughts about this whole thing with China. And my thing is when the tariffs hit, and things get nasty for it, just throws things off, and we're really trying to see things kind of settle and know where we're at, because we can't do business fully. Like there's a lot of us that would like to make some moves, but we don't know. Like perfect 2 weeks ago, a lot of us were buying stuff, and the next day it was like, oh my God, if I would have just waited one more day, I could have saved 50 to 75 bucks. This is what we're going through. But it'd be nicer if we had more of a balance and you don't have that feeling of, gosh, because we all want to you always want to do the best with what you have, right? But we just don't know. And we have all these different things hitting us with the war and this quiet, inflation, you know, um, some people say we already are in a recession, but it's quiet. I don't know. I'm just like work. All I can do is say, hey, Angel, figure out ways to bring up your income. So whatever happens, you can continue doing what you want to do. It might be a little bit, uh, frustrating. It might be even tiresome, but we're also in a war as people, just getting through the day, right? Fighting through the gas lines and how much gas is and food and trying to, hit that coupon, right? Hit that sale, right? So we're doing the same thing with our, our silver and gold and platinum and, your collectibles, your hobbies and these things. We're trying to keep things affordable and also investing smarter, right? But when these things are coming, it's it's kind of it's kind of like a standstill because um you're not sure what's going to really happen, right? So it almost becomes like a gamble in a sense, because even though you're staggering long, you still want to stack smart, right, family? Let me know your thoughts. Put it in the comments. I appreciate you guys listening. Let me know what you guys think. And also follow, because we know sometimes Trump will say 30 days and then it gets pushed out, right? So, this isn't to make anybody alarmed or having to, do things, in fear. It's just something as investors and collectors and people that have a hobby that they really enjoy. It's to know what's going on so you can prepare for it. That's all, family. So share in the comments your thoughts. Love you guys. Thank you guys for watching, and peace out. Out, out, out.